Last summer, we took a good hard look at our kindergarten program here at Western Christian Academy, and what we found was that it was not well-rounded enough for our students or our parents. Over the year, we have developed a fully well-rounded program that our students and parents can now get a full education so that they start first grade fresh and ready. Today, we're going to go over the different aspects that make it student and parent friendly.
One thing we want to talk about is the teacher's guides, and in that teacher's guide, whether it's math or language arts, there is a daily lesson planner. And we're going to start here with lesson 1. It gives you the overview, what will happen that day in that lesson, and what materials you may need. I do want to emphasize, though, that this is written for a classroom, so you may need to modify it just to teach 1 or 2 students. And then it'll show you what you need. So we want to make sure that you are prepared and read this lesson well before you start teaching the lesson for that day. To be an effective homeschool teacher, you need to take the time to prepare yourself. Not just for teaching, but also prepare your child with a designated area to work. So when they're ready to do their schoolwork, they can open up their book. Let's go to lesson number 1. And at their little workstation that is in a quiet area, you can prepare for them their pencils, their crayons, a place for their books to be, and a place to store their books. And so they can stand or sit and be ready with everything they need for a time of learning with you. So this is lesson number 1 in math, and you just go through that with them according to the teacher's guide. And very simple, but very important for them to do.
In addition to that, each day they'll also be doing a language arts. So you have your teacher's guide, and then you have your books for the year. And in here, just like the math book, there is also a guide that you can do weekly lesson plans. And everything's already laid out for you. If you do a lesson a day, you should be okay. If you have to repeat something with a student, you're more than welcome to, because the kids have the time they need to learn each and every day. Even if that's a struggle, they can repeat something. So in language arts, we want you to read through and read through this as a teacher, and then help your student figure it out for the next day. So you kind of have an understanding of what's going to happen and how you're going to help your student. And so they give you the pages, they show you what they are. So when you go ahead and open up the student's book, you will also find the same matching pages. So in here, your student will write their name. They're going to read this. They may struggle with that. That's okay if you help them out. And they say, well, my name is, and they can put Johnny or Sarah or whatever it is, and let them write it on their own. If they're struggling with their writing, that's okay. You can write it down here with a highlighter, correctly written on the lines, and then they can trace it. In time, by the end of the year, they should be able to do it on their own. So you'll go through lesson 1. You'll follow everything that's in here. There's going to be some oral games, some things you guys do back and forth. Some of them are just talking conversations, and that's okay. And then you'll continue through to lesson 1 and drawing pictures, what they look like. Keep this, because at the end of the year, if you ask them to do it again, you'll be surprised at how much they've changed and what they can do if you ask them to draw a picture of themselves again. So after you've done this, you're going to do a lesson a day. By the time you get to lesson 7, things are going to change a little bit. So they're going to be learning about the letter A, but in addition to following what's in the teacher's guide and then having them do what's in the workbook, they're also going to, at that time, encompass the other pieces. That's where the resource guide comes into play. So it tells us that in lesson 7, what we're doing, and that we are learning a sound. And then we're going to go to ABCs with Ace and Christy, and we're going to teach pages 4 and 5 about Abby the antelope. This is your manual, and in here, when you go to page 4 and 5, you're going to see Abby antelope here, and it comes with this great card and then it comes with a story on the back. So you'll read through this with your student and help them hear the sound that Abby makes. And there's a card for every one of the sounds that goes through the program. And once they've done this with you, then the student will get their workbook out. And they'll turn to the pages you give them, and it'll be page 2. And on page 2, they'll just go ahead and do this. And that's in addition to the regular stuff. And it tells you here it's page 2. Okay, this is all for the first semester, and it's done through each lesson, and each lesson is given. So some of them, when you get to 8, you're not going to be working in this program. But when you get back to lesson 10, you'll be back in this program. And then later, when you get to the second semester, that's when the ABCs of reading come into play. Please remember that throughout the program, the most important thing we can tell you is that you need to read to your student every single day. And that is, you read to them so they can hear you read fluently and what that sounds like, and then have them start to learn to read back to you. And that will help their reading skills and put them at a level they need to be at in the future. Thank you for joining us today. Have a great day.